Welcome to my inn, the Carriage Rest Inn, a place where the bard has tales that spin. As our weary travelers struggle to find their role in this world divided with souls that are full. Trust, confusion, loyalty are a greater foe than any arrow sprung from above. Who is dark, who is light, a constant battle over who is right. Listen as we begin here at the Carriage Rest Inn.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Carriage Rest Tales. I'm your host and dungeon master, and to my left we have...
Well, hello. This is Sam, and I play Woods, the elven, maybe paladin ranger. That status is a little hazy these days. And it's just the two of us tonight.
Yep, special one-off episode with Woods, because if I remember correctly, Nomis and Vive secretly snuck out to Kamachi, and Woods was just kneeling down next to her mother, asking for help in her private yurt.
I need your help.
Yes, what is it, daughter?
Who's Dolim?
Dolim? I don't know. No, Dolim. Was that one of your friends, maybe?
No, who's Dolim?
I don't know anybody by that name. Elwood?
You have to, that's who merged with me when I was a toddler, and you had to have been there, because why would I be in Dorma by myself?
We've never been in Dorma.
No, I have these memories that flood back to me, and they show up in my dreams of me small and cold going towards a baby. And I didn't know what they were now, but now I know what they are, and I'm merged, and I merged with Dolim.
What do you mean merged?
Like merged. Like my Ivana soul and my Dorma soul are now one.
Dorma soul? There's no souls in Dorma. There's just the Noah. We all know this.
No. And Woods is like really confused. How do you not know? I thought you would know. I thought that's why I was here. I thought Sopalor brought me back here because you would know. You're the high priestess. You have run this sanctuary for centuries.
Yes, and I'm so excited. We're rewarded with Sopalor touching one of my daughters. You have the hand of the goddess on you. And she's looking down at your left hand that's got the markings of a swirling sun.
Yes, but there's more to this. And she points down to her arm. You have to know. Don't you pay attention to the things that happen beyond this ridge?
And this is our community. We pray to the goddess and she protects us.
But she isn't protecting you. I protected you. 3 months ago, when I was here and the rift opened, I protected you.
There was no rift here 3 months ago. You weren't even here.
That's why I left.
You left 2 years ago.
And then it all just kind of hits her, and she remembers the time that they spent suspended and is now realizing how long she's been gone from her family and her community. Okay. Well, it feels like I was just here. And she's trying to kind of cover it up a bit. But that was me who did that. It wasn't Sopalor. And it was... Okay.
Sopalor must have...
No, it wasn't Sopalor.
Working through you.
No. Just, you never listened to me. It's not Sopalor. It was Lucha.
She gets a confused look on her face. The moon maiden?
Yes, and she's going to show her the branding on her neck of the half moon that used to be a necklace, but now is that of Lucha's mark. She came to me. Look, this.
Do you have the marking of the sun god and the moon god?
Yeah, I guess I don't. And really, for the first time, she realizes that she has both markings. Lucha came to me, and I had to trade, and I had to pick, and I picked saving you, and our family and our community to be her champion and to go out there and do things for her. And now I've learned so much, and I don't know if what I'm doing is the right. I thought you would know. I thought you would know about this. Why don't you know?
Know about what? And you're the champion of who? So Pilar? She's the one that brought you here.
I know she brought me here, but it's not her. It's Lucha. She's the one that gave me this power. That's the reason I went to the Night Circle, was because of her. Because when that rift opened, I traded my soul for this community. And I told her I would do what she asked of me. That is what she asked. But now it's so much more than that. It's the Night Circle and the professor and Damien and Dorma and souls merging, and I don't know if I can do what she's asking me to do now.
What is she asking you to do?
She wants me to kill my friend, the person who has been my family since I've left. And I can't do it. And I'm fighting every day, and I fight against her, but I don't want to give up my power because she gave that. And I'm afraid if I totally turn against her, then I won't have it anymore. But I need it because we're trying to figure out how to stop her and how to end the spell. Puts her head down for a minute and just realizes the magnitude of everything that she's kind of spilling out on the floor right now. It's so difficult and it's so hard. And I really thought you would know, and I thought you'd be able to help me.
This Lucha, the goddess of darkness, is giving you a difficult time. Maybe you need to come back to the temple, come back to the light.
I can't. There's no time for this. There's no time for praying all day.
That's what keeps us safe.
I
know. Melwood Cypress.
And that like stung. I know I gave up my lineage to the Delray Sanctuary when I left. I understand that. But I had to in order to keep you safe. There's no order of light here. There was going to be no one to close that rift. I had to trade my name for this community. If not, we would have died.
And then Solpalor brought you back to us.
I know. And
Maybe she wants you here.
But
maybe she would have closed the rift if Lucha hadn't tempted you first.
Tempted me. It wasn't a tempt. It was a decision. And it felt really black and white at that point. It was either trade my soul to save you or do nothing.
We've never really had rifts. She must have been testing our faith. We always thought she was one that closed it.
Testing. Just scratching her head at this point, and now is on her feet and starting to pace a bit. It feels like a game, Mother. It feels like I am this pawn in this game, and either way we play, there's no good outcome. Either I do what Lucha wants and I fell the pillar and my friend dies and gets merged, and the entire world as we know it collide. And just like how I was merged when I was a toddler, everyone is smacked together. Or we don't do that, and then we live in these completely separate worlds where there are horrible things happening on Dorma, where the dead never die, and the Denoa just continue to collect, and they continue to rid the world. And it's so painful, and it's so sad. And then here in Havana, there are just complacencies. There's no strong emotion, no fear, no happiness. That people just put their head down and go through their life. And the worlds are fighting each other, trying to come together. So what am I supposed to do?
I would have faith in Solpalor. She will bring us the light. She will bring us happiness. She's kept us safe all these centuries.
But she's dead.
She looks a little shocked. She can't be dead. We just witnessed her power through you.
No, but she is. And she's like now like shoves her hands into her big palazzo pants as she's just like pacing and walking around like, but she is dead because the harbinger of creation killed her. I saw it. I saw it when I was Lucia. I saw it. And she said she was, and like the entire vision of the two of that scene is playing out again in her head. As
you are going through your emotions and trying to argue with your mother, you start waving your arms around, and then you feel a coin fall out of your pocket, hit the ground, and it rolls between the two of you, and it starts spinning around and around. And then you start having memories. You start remember when you talked to Lucia, and she said she was only half of a whole. She was split. She was one side of a coin. And then you start thinking through your most recent vision of Sopalor. She was overlooking Black Bay Harbor, talking with the harbinger of creation. He was talking about how there was a chance. There was a chance to have a perfect world with no sadness and no death. But then you remember that when you were Sopalor in that situation, you felt empty. You felt half full. You felt like a part of you was missing, like you were only one side of a coin.
So as these memories kind of like flood back through her brain, she's mumbling parts of the story that are inaudible as she stares at the coin on the floor, and she bends over and looks at it and shows it to her mother. It's this. We're not two sides of a coin. We need to be one world. We need to have both. And then she starts to kind of piece it together that Lucia and Sopalor are one. And she starts like thinking about that. That's what they're one. So Sopalor is Lucia. They were ripped apart. So they need to, does that mean Lucia's right?
As you're having that discussion, you remember the name Saline.
Sally. That's where Lucia always takes me. When I turn into her, we go back to that temple.
And then you start thinking about the temple, and you remember seeing that the temple had depictions of the sun rays, and also had depictions of night. It had pictures of both light and darkness, a goddess of sun and shadow, a wielder of both light and darkness.
Mother, who's the goddess of Salim? Who's Salim?
I don't know, goddess Saline.
You don't, in all of your teachings in centuries that you've been here.
We've always followed the light. We've always followed Sopalor.
But what if they're supposed to be one? What if it's supposed to be harmony between both light and dark? And what if that's what we're supposed to do? What if we're supposed, so is Lucia right? Then why doesn't Sopalor want this to happen? Why were they fighting over me? That's what was happening before we got here. And she connects with her mother's eyes. That's why I'm here. It's because Lucia was asking me to do something and taking over my body and trying to get me to kill my friend. And I felt this warm sensation in my chest. And I knew it was her. I knew it was this. She like puts her hands up in the air, pointing to the temple around her. And that's why she brought me back here. And I thought she was stopping it. But maybe she wants it. Maybe she wants me here to be stronger. And she's going to just drop to her knees and start the ritual of her prayers to Sopalor.
At first, you don't feel anything. You might even feel a nagging coming from the brand on your neck of frustration. And then you look down at your left arm and you see the swirling rays of Sopalor. And you remember that the feeling of Sopalor didn't start in your chest. It started in your left arm. as you were holding the bow of Saline. You think back and you remember your vision that when Sopalor was murdered, her soul traveled to the temple of Saline and entered into the bow.
I'm going to take the bow from my back and I'm going to look around and realize that I've actually ended up kneeling directly in the middle of the altar. And I look up and I'm going to set the bow in my hands, palms up, and I'm going to start to squeeze the bow and do everything I can to bring back Sopalor. Her light lives within us all.
Your hands begin to have a tingly, warm feeling on them.
Keep the light within you.
You start feeling it moving up your wrists to your forearms.
Under her rays, she is the light.
You start to feel a warmth going through you, and you hear come from behind you as your mother gasps, and you're looked down, and now both your left and right arm, you see them starting to light up along the paths of the sun flares. So like cracks in your skin as they're starting to show light and shine out, illuminating the inside of the altar.
Her light lives within me. Her light lives within us.
It starts to grow up to your shoulders, but then it starts to get pushed back. It starts to be challenged by a darkness that's getting casted around your neck. And you start to feel hot.
Sopalor, why can't we both exist? Why can't light and dark exist together?
Your hands begin to burn as you feel this energy pulsating, and it gets extremely hot, and you drop the bow. You see the light starting to recede a little bit.
I'm going to try to pick it back up and just live through the pain and start again. Her light lives within us all. Keep the light within you. Under her rays. Her light, and I'm standing at this point, her light lives within me. Her light lives within you.
As you are trying to pull more of Sopalor out of the bow, and you're standing and you're making these declarations, you hear your mother behind you start chanting a prayer, just chanting. And then you feel Lucha power surge in as your face darkens, your eyes darken, and you turn around and she shouts. You hear your goddess's voice shouting at your mother. There's always shadow when there's light. You can't just have the light. And you're feeling angry as you're moving towards your mother, and you start getting that sense of conflict again, of Sopalor trying to stop Lucha. And you come out of this trance as you're holding your two sickles in your hands. One has a shadow across its blade, and the other has a light across its blade. And you're paused. Coming back to your senses, and you see that you were in the midst of going to slash out, but you were able to stop yourself.
I'm going to look down at both of my hands and can I tell if one hand is closer to my mother than the other?
Yeah, we'll say that your left hand, which is the one that is lit up, is closer to your mother.
The one that's light?
Yep.
So I look down at both of my sickles in my hand, one clearly representing Sopalor and the other representing Lucha. And I realize none of them is representing me. That I have been a vessel for two gods to fight a war. And I'm done being their pawn. Lucha, let my eyes be your eyes. So Pelor, your light lives within me. Lucha, let my heart beat as yours. So Pelor, I live under your rays, but I am Woods, and I am not either of you. So either learn to live within me equally, or leave and take my powers with you.
You hear a voice, but it's now been combined between Solpalor and Lucha, alternating just like our intro of darkness and light. Will you be able to withstand our power?
I have shown I can harness both of your powers. So either give them to me together or leave and find another pawn to play this game.
We can give you our powers, but I fear your mortal flesh won't maintain it. But we need to end this. We can try to limit it.
I am a direct descendant of the Del Reys. My body is built to handle this. Give it to me.
You start to feel an intense pain as you fall to your knees, as your skin begins to crack and show signs of not bleeding, but really bad psoriasis, we'll say. One side is glowing a darkness, or glowing a bright light crawling up your arms. The other one's showing a darkness going up your arms into your shoulders and into your back, where you feel a golden wing of light appear on your left side and a shadowy wing of darkness appear on your right side. But I do need you to roll a d6.
1.
Lower your maximum hit points by 1.
Okay.
We will put our trust in you, Woods, to end this battle, to use our powers to stop the Harbinger.
As this story pulls on your soul, in the end, we hope it is full.
Hey guys, it's Mike, your host and Dungeon Master at Carriage Rest Tales. I just want to say thanks for taking the time to listen to our podcast. It really means a lot to us. If you are enjoying the content and you haven't already, please give us a 5-star review. It's really going to help us grow our listenership and be able to reach more people. I also want to give a special thanks to Tabletop Audio for providing the background music for today's episode.